Hey YouTube, so this is part 2 of Drunk Vegas Lawyer Mistrial, a defense attorney reacts. My name is Natalie. I'm a criminal defense attorney. I've been a criminal defense attorney for 10 years. Part 1 of that video will be up here somewhere in the cards. So you guys can go ahead and click on that if you haven't already seen it. You should click on that if you haven't already seen it. So let's get right into it.
Betty. I don't fear the unknown, Judge, but and my experience with you has been nothing but positive. And I was a little bit nervous, and I asked this young lady to accompany me, and that's the reason I asked her to come with me.
That is just something I cannot understand. You're showing up what seems to be drunk to court, and you just ask some random stranger to accompany you to court. I don't understand that.
She's not an ex-girlfriend. She's a friend of a friend.
But you told the court that was your ex-girlfriend.
I apologize for misrepresenting that to the judge.
And who were you talking to back in chambers? I mean, the nurse left and we couldn't get you off your cell phone.
I was talking to my girlfriend, my fiance.
Oh, your real girlfriend.
My fiance.
Okay.
I don't want to make this.
This is really strange behavior. So the judge had a nurse check him out, and while the nurse is trying to examine him, he's on the phone with his real girlfriend or his fiance. Very, very strange.
So, Barbara, and I apologize.
Oh, you have.
I know.
I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. You've turned it into a soap opera.
I'm
telling you.
I've been in business for 16 years. I've done 67
He's slurring his words.
And I feel terrible about this.
Okay, now, again, I just want to make sure, where's your car now? Because there's 3 cars involved in this accident. Not one person called the police. Okay?
Makes no sense.
So somebody hit you. That was a hit and run. You didn't call the police, and none of the other 2 people.
You hit somebody and you didn't call the police. That's weird.
That were involved in the accident called the police. So 3 vehicles were involved in an accident at Rancho and Sahara.
I just want to know what's in the minds of those prosecutors that are standing over there not saying anything but witnessing this like absolute meltdown and takedown of this defense attorney. I would really, really love to know what they're thinking right now.
You told me you left your house at 9 o'clock, although you said you didn't wake up till 9:30. So I'm not quite sure when you left your house.
So he said he didn't wake up until 9:30 but left his house at 9. And what time was court supposed to start? What?
Tell me the major crossroads of your house.
I want to restate that. I woke up at 9:25. I left my house at 10 o'clock. And I was hit at approximately 10:15. My car was not drivable. A good Samaritan helped me push my car to Rancho between Sahara and...
I don't believe him.
I'm not sure if it's 20. I'm not sure what's
If he's lying right now, he's getting himself into a heap of trouble. You cannot do this. As an officer of the court, you cannot lie to the judge. You can't do this.
Well, Rancho and Sahara intersect, so you told me back in chambers that you were going northbound on Rancho, that you made a left to go eastbound on Sahara, and that your car was pushed over into the right lane. Actually, you told me it was in the lane, but I'm assuming you got it out of...
It was in the right lane, and someone came and actually pushed me into the turning lane.
And you have a black Audi.
Gray.
I'm sorry. A gray Audi.
A Las Vegas Centennial plate.
He's a lie. He's a whole lie.
Okay.
Judge, if I can just start,
sure.
If we can make the record.
Now the prosecutor got something to say. Oh.
First of all, when Mr. Camego came in, I was in the courtroom along with the COs and Officer Vargas, who has just told Your Honor what he believed he heard. And that's also what I believed I heard.
Oh, so now the prosecutor is backing up the officer that he heard him say he waited for 2 hours for the police to show up. Changing that story, realizing it doesn't make sense, that they can check and see if you called the police and waited for 2 hours. And then they'll be able to tell that you did not, in fact, call the police. So you had to back up off that story that you never called the police, even when you're hit by a hit and run driver, and that makes you hit somebody else. It doesn't make any sense.
As Mr. Caramango say, I called the cops and I had to wait for 2 hours. And then they joked about it, about cops not showing up for 2 hours. That was my recollection of the conversation. Judge, additionally, I also heard Mr. Caramango said it was a black Audi, that he was severely rear-ended, that it was pushed off to the side of the road on Sahara. He got a ride from a Good Samaritan and came to the courthouse where he called his ex-girlfriend to come here for support. That ex-girlfriend's name was Christine.
I know, but now it turns
Who
out
is identified
Christine is
now.
really Josephine.
Correct. Judge, he's given us several different time frames of when he got up, when he left, when the accident was. Judge, I can tell you that the follow-up we have done, we have called Detective Vaughn, who was detective in this case, who was in that area at this time. And Mr. Tomchek has actually talked to Detective Vaughn so he can make those representations.
I knew when I was like, what are they thinking over there? Because all the running in and out that they were doing, I knew that they were going to be calling the police and checking on that.
Judges, as prosecutors, we obviously have an obligation to protect the record and protect this proceeding before Your Honor. And that's why we've taken the steps that we have, because we had representations from counsel this morning that he was prepared to proceed with trial.
Regardless of his injuries.
Right. My observations were observing him that there was clearly something wrong with him. I noticed he was slurring his speech. I noticed he seemed unsteady on his feet. And when actually Mr. Caramango came back into the courtroom, he seemed very unsteady on his feet as he walked by and actually ran into our counsel table.
He ran into the counsel table. Someone give him a walk and turn test. He needs some field sobriety test. This man is drunk.
So those concerns, I mean, above and beyond what we've already talked about in here, we wanted to follow up and see if we could maybe shed some light on what actually happened and what his injuries may or may not be. Detective Vaughn is the detective in this case who is scheduled.
Oh, so it is a criminal case.
I called him to let him know that we wouldn't need him because we were running behind schedule, and I spoke to him briefly, and he told me he was eating lunch in the area of Sahara and Decatur. So I said, hey.
He asked the detective, who is a witness in the criminal case, to check on the defense attorney's lying story. That's going to create a conflict. Because once that detective sees that the story that the guy is lying, whatever future proceedings are commenced against this attorney, Mr. Caramango, whatever his name is, that detective is now a witness in that too. So it's creating conflicts. But oh, what a tangled web we weave.
Hey, while you're out there, do me a favor. Can you run by on Sahara and see if you see this vehicle? And in fact, he drove up and down Sahara. He didn't see the vehicle. I told him he was in the neighborhood of Rancho.
Didn't see the vehicle?
Not on Sahara.
Oh,
he turned
no.
on Rancho and actually saw the vehicle on Rancho, not on Sahara, as Mr. Caramango stated back.
Oh, so they did see the vehicle, but it was on a different street than where he thought he left it because he was drunk.
Chambers.
It's on Rancho. I said it was on Rancho.
And I certainly don't want to, I'm not trying to throw any dirt on Mr. Caramango. I'm just telling the court what our understanding of this is.
Mr. Caramango.
Detective Vaughn ran the plates on the vehicle. It does come back to a 2006 Audi. There's no rear end damage in the car, but there is front end damage. And the car is registered to an individual named Christopher Ponto. And Chris is the name that was given, that Mr. Caramango was given as the Good Samaritan that drove back to court. What all that means, I do not know.
Interesting. So this vehicle that they found that has front end damage, and Mr. Caramango said his own vehicle was an Audi, is an Audi of a different color, but registered to a Chris, and he said Chris was his Good Samaritan. What does all this mean? What's the real story here?
Well, the 2006, there is a 2006 Audi
The 2006
on Rancho.
Audi on Rancho, north of Sahara.
On Rancho.
With
Pardon?
On Rancho.
front end damage.
And it comes back to who?
Christopher Ponto.
Who's that?
And Your Honor, I can explain that as well.
Well, I hope so, because you told me you were in your car. You told me you were in your, you used the term that I asked you to, my drive car.
It's my daily driver, Your Honor.
Yeah, daily driver is what you used.
Yeah.
Your daily driver.
I had a client named Christopher Ponto My best friend is a gentleman named Victor Ponto. His son was incarcerated in the state penitentiary. I represented him. He had a car lease. I assumed the lease from Christopher Ponto, and I've been making the payments for him. The car is insured. It's registered. It's still in the name of Christopher Ponto.
What? You're driving, so you have a client, Mr. Ponto, whose son, Christopher Ponto, is incarcerated. And while that son is incarcerated, you're driving your client's son's car and paying the insurance on it and extending the lease on it and paying the lease amount every month? What?
And I've been driving it, Your Honor. I've been making the payments, and it's still registered to Christopher Ponto.
Why? Why haven't you transferred the registration
Christopher
over?
Ponto is in prison.
He's incarcerated, Your Honor.
And that was in Clark County?
Yes, Your Honor.
Where, who did you appear in front of?
Your Honor, the
That
case
person,
was
is
originally...
it P-A-N-T-O?
It was in front of Judge Wall, Your Honor.
T-O-N-T-O?
P-O-N-T-O. And Mr. Ponto had leased the car for his girlfriend, who was the complaining witness in the case. He received 12 to 32, or 12 to 40. I assumed the lease on Mr. Ponto's car. I've been making the payments. I have the insurance in my name, and that's my daily driver.
What?
So the car was hit from behind. There's minimal damage in the back. There's substantial damage in the front.
You drove into something drunk. I don't know whose car this is, but you drove into something drunk and hit it with the front end of that vehicle. Cause ain't no way. There's no way that you get hit from behind with enough force to hit a car in front of you and cause substantial damage, and nobody calls the police. That is weird.
It's
We'll deal with it. Okay? Because trust me, we'll just deal with it. I have no desire to ruin your reputation or anything.
Oh, his
we'll
reputation
deal with
is done,
I'll give you an opportunity to get it together. But at this point, I got Mr. Jacochinas, who is facing a life sentence.
It is a criminal case, and your client is facing a life sentence? No. This is not the way to do it, man. Oh, this hurts my heart. No.
Your Honor,
Okay.
I'm aware of that.
So if you came to court intoxicated, you have a problem.
Oh.
Do you understand me?
Your Honor, I can represent as an officer.
This is the first time she said it out loud, which everyone's been dancing around it, Oh, when you, Miss Lady, were at the cafe, were you having alcoholic drinks? And he was slurring his words, and we don't really know what's going on here. But she came right out and said it. This guy is facing life in prison. If you are intoxicated, you are in a lot of trouble.
Circuit Court, I am not intoxicated.
You're lying.
You can't even represent me anything so far.
No,
So
everything you said has been a lie.
Representation about the
Josephine's name was Christine.
Now it's
She was
Josephine.
your ex-girlfriend. Turns out you only knew her for 20 minutes. You said you were rear-ended. Your car has absolutely no rear-end damage. Has substantial front-end damage. It's not even registered to you. It's registered to a person who is
client's
incarcerated in the Nevada Department of Corrections. I'm not quite sure it can get much worse. So just go ahead and blow. Let's get it over with. But let me tell you.
Oh, they got the sheriff's deputy right there with the breathalyzer. Gonna get that BAC. Breathalyzer.
My desire will not be to hurt you, it will be to help you. Okay? My only desire will be to help you and to make sure that this gentleman who's sitting at this table,
His client is right there. Is this a murder case?
he's facing a life sentence.
No.
Your Honor,
He's
I
facing a life
appreciate that, Your
sentence.
Honor. I've been an attorney for 16 years. I've had 67 jury trials. I
You
would
keep
in no
saying-
way jeopardize my client's future.
You are doing that right now. You are jeopardizing your client's future right now as we speak. I mean, this was 14 years ago, so hopefully everybody's okay. But this man is facing life in prison. You cannot be serious right now, homie. Come on.
Well, so
You're
I
gonna need to take that breathalyzer.
So I can get confident.
I don't see the probable cause for me to blow.
I stated it repeatedly, so go ahead and blow.
You don't see the probable cause for you to blow? I see the probable cause. You were operating a motor vehicle. You're in there with slurred speech. You're acting drunk, right? The vehicle was in a collision. You walked away from it. You're acting strangely and erratically. You can't walk straight. You're definitely impaired. There's definitely probable cause to give you a blow. To blow in that breathalyzer.
Okay, go down, sir. Go down. You're ordering me to blow?
I absolutely am ordering you.
You're
and
ordered.
This is a complete record, so if you're not happy with what I've asked you to do, then you have a remedy. You can take it to the
appeal.
Supreme Court.
Judge,
You can
I
do
have nothing
whatever.
but respect and honor for Your Honor.
No, you don't. You don't have respect for yourself.
Since the inception of this case, you've given me a fair trial this far.
Well, it's not you I'm worried about, it's Mr.
Your
Jakachunas.
Honor, my concerns
Yeah.
are for my client as well.
No, even though he's subject to cross-examination by the judge, he is not who's really important here. Who's important is the person who's facing life in prison, who is presumed to be innocent.
And you know what, if I were you, my only interest would be in clearing my name, so clear your
I
name.
see, sir.
He can't clear his name.
Innocent. Why should I have to clear my name? Am I charged with a crime?
Absolutely not. I have no desire to charge you with a crime. I hope you understand this. My only desire will be to help you. If there's a
You're
problem,
gonna be.
my only desire will be to help you and to protect. The only people I care about right now is you. The only
What?
person I care about is you and Mr. Jakachunas right now. That's all I care about.
How is his client staying so calm in all
Respect
this?
that, Your Honor, and
Okay.
I'm willing to go forward.
You then blow.
I see. Judge, this is an intoxicator.
It's a PBT. I used it routinely in
PBT,
court. I know
preliminary breath test.
In fact, this is my old Marshall.
I respect this.
Okay? He used to do it for me all the time.
Take a deep breath, just blow on it.
If you have any questions about this, the court has the authority to see if people are competent to be before them. So if you have a case and you're a witness or you're a party or you're one of the attorneys, you have a duty to be competent and not intoxicated before the court so they can order you to take a PBT. In many states, in my state, they order that. They have ordered that when my clients have showed up to be intoxicated. And, you can appeal from the decision to do that, but I've never been successful in that because it's authorized and it's a legal request because you have a duty to remain, to not be inebriated. Go and take the test, boo. He should just admit to what he did. Look at this lady back here smiling. It's not funny. I feel sorry for him.
Did you get a good enough blow? Okay. Well, you know you gotta blow good. I know you have to blow good.
I mean,
Because I know you represented.
I've never been in before, Judge.
I know, but you probably represented people that have been arrested for DUI.
So people will often try to avoid an accurate result by failing to blow forcefully into the PBT or the breathalyzer. And so that is a behavioral positive a lot of the times. So he needs to just go ahead and blow in there.
And you gotta blow good. Mm-hmm. I'm confident you know that.
You don't have to do it again.
You don't? You wanna show me? You got a good enough read?
About to show her.
Okay.
What is it?
0.052, Your Honor. It's residual from last night. I am stone sober.
Residual from last night? If he said 0.05, I wonder. So in our state, under 0.06 is presumed to not be intoxicated. 0.06 is driving while impaired. 0.10 and above is driving under the influence per se. meaning it's presumed that you're under the influence, and it's a rebuttable presumption. So if they have a similar, rubric, then 0.05 means that there's alcohol in your system, but not enough to intoxicate you or to make you impaired.
Mr. Caramango, if I was you, I would just be quiet.
Don't say nothing.
Okay? No, is it done?
Yeah, so quiet.
Okay, for the record, your blood alcohol is a 0.075.
Not a 0.052. It looks like it was going up as he was walking there. 0.075. If they are anything like us, that's above the legal limit. But under 0.08, I think you can still rebut it between 0.06 and 0.08. So 0.06 is DWI. It's been a while since I've done a DUI case. I don't do those cases anymore. But 0.06 for us is DWI, driving while impaired, lower DUI standard. 0.08 is DUI, and then 0.10 and above is DUI per se.
And, Raul, will you state your name for the record? And you were ordered to come up here by myself, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you used to do these tests for me routinely in mini court?
Yes.
And this is the same machine that we used to use in mini court?
It is the same unit we use.
And will you state for the record the machine that you used?
It is a TBT Alco Sensor 3, it's an intoximeter.
And you've been properly trained in how to perform that test?
Yes.
Okay, and you properly followed all the procedures like you've been trained to do, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you very much for coming up here at my request. Okay, if the record will, and do you want to see it, Mr. Caramango?
Well, Your Honor.
Did you clear
No,
it?
Your Honor, I know this gentleman, and he's been and I believe what he says. And Judge,
Hey,
again,
that's not so brave a judge.
well, that may be a noble statement, Your Honor. I admit that I did have drinks last night, and I lost my grandmother about 2 weeks ago.
Now he lost his grandmother 2 weeks ago. Lord have mercy. Next, the dog is going to eat his homework.
I've been under a lot of pressure. I wanted the best for my client, and it was a mistake to drink last night. And I apologize, Your Honor, and I don't know what else to say. I just know that I can try this case.
You were here at 11:15.
Why are you still saying that you can try the case? Why are you still saying that? Why? Why, Mr. Caramango? Stop. You cannot have a 0.075 and still be able to try a case. Absolutely not.
Ma'am, is that correct? April, can you say for the record when he appeared? Because we didn't finish with our criminal calendar till about 11.
Yeah, it was approximately 11:15, 11:20 this morning.
Okay, so 11:15, 11:20, Mr. Caramango appeared. It is now, by the court's clock, 1:46 p.m.
Lord.
Almost 1.5 hours later.
No,
and you're at 0.075.
Because your joint was... All right, let me let the judge tell it.
According to the intoxicated, Your Honor.
Right. So, I think that you probably had more to drink than
You've had time to sober up.
I mean, I was hoping it was going to say 0.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, I mean,
I
I
wanted
can't.
to say 0.01. And I apologize. No disrespect to the court. And I just apologize, Your Honor.
This is
I
embarrassing.
hope you weren't involved in it.
Your Honor, I said that I did the shots of tequila last night, Your Honor. I was at my...
Oh, now there's shots of tequila. This is the first time I'm hearing exactly what he was drinking. You know, people when they're preparing for a trial, a murder trial of all things, or whatever this is, where this guy's facing life in prison, that's what I assume it is. But people that are preparing for a trial might have a glass of wine while they're preparing for trial, or a scotch or something. But it's like one drink, you know, so because you don't want to be drunk the next day. I don't drink while I prepare for a trial because it makes me nervous. You know, I'm just nervous. I might miss something, you know, but, you know, to each his own. But shots of tequila while you're preparing for trial? Are you playing Lil Jon while you're doing it too? What's going on here?
I went out till 4 in the morning last night.
You were in your office till 4 in the morning.
I was stressed. I lost my grandmother.
So you
I lost my brother.
you got drunk at your office. You drove home from your office drunk at 4:00 in the morning. You were drinking until shots of tequila, if we believe you, until 4:00 in the morning. And then got up at 9:30, only a few hours later. Of course this is what happens. Of course. If you drank last night, if you had shots of tequila last night, you're still drunk from last night. You're still drunk.
Brother in 99.
You said 2 weeks ago, now you said a month, okay? I kind of think you should...
Wow. He said he lost his grandmother 2 weeks ago, and now he said he lost his grandmother a month ago. He's trash, man. He's not trash. He's doing trash things. Let me not call this human being trash, but he's doing trash things.
June 2nd was when my grandmother died.
I think you should stop because it just keeps getting worse.
I apologize.
So, I mean, I cannot let an attorney proceed under these types of conditions. I don't think you have a concussion, and I sure hope there's no reports of hit and run. I hope you weren't involved in a hit and run.
I was not, Your Honor.
I hope not.
I did speak with the gentleman who hit me, and he took off.
You spoke with the gentleman who hit you and he took off? But I thought you didn't...
The nice gentleman in pickup. And I did not exchange information with him because he was satisfied to leave. His damage was minimal.
The guy that you hit?
His damages were minimal?
Well, I now know why you didn't call 911.
Your Honor, philosophically, I've never called 911 in my life.
As you were intoxicated.
Sir,
You were worried about
you was
being
drunk.
arrested.
Your Honor, I was not intoxicated.
Yes, you were.
And again, my only desire at this point is to protect...
Your client.
I don't know, I've never had an attorney. Maybe the state can enlighten me. My only desire at this point is to protect...
It's a
Mr.
mistrial.
Zakachunas. I cannot absolutely allow an attorney to proceed. I don't think you have a concussion. I don't think you hit your head. I don't think you have a concussion. I think you're dazed and confused and can't tell a straight story because you're too intoxicated.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You know what?
I respectfully
Okay.
disagree, Your Honor.
And I don't know you that well.
Man, you
and
tripping.
maybe you have a problem, and-
You better be
and
quiet.
so my
Stop
only
talking.
desire is to see that maybe you can get some help.
I appreciate that, Your Honor, but I can represent to the court that I do not have a problem. I've been under a lot of stress.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
You do have a problem.
I was to drink last night, and I regret it. And I can represent to the court that I was not intoxicated at any point in time.
Mm-mm. No.
Ooh, unless you drank sometime while you were here in the courthouse.
Right.
Mister, I know you didn't.
You were intoxicated while you were driving, and his blood alcohol concentration was higher if he was drinking from last night. You know, it's been going down all day. So when he first walked into that courtroom, he was drunker than he is right now. And when he was driving, he was more intoxicated than he is right now. And whoever this lady is that he got from off the street, I really need to understand that. That don't make no sense to me.
Either in my sight or my bailiff.
Wow. 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 Holy crapoly. Holy crap. I cannot believe what I just watched, you guys. So this is part 2 of this reaction to this drunk lawyer in Las Vegas who is seriously in court under the influence talking about he can go forward. Like, if he had just begged off for a continuance, I'm sure early enough, even if they thought, you know, maybe he's a little drunk, they might have given him the continuance, you know, because you can't represent somebody while you're intoxicated. Why does he even want to do this is my real question. I don't get it. I don't get it. You know, you have a bad day. The case gets continued because you had a bad day. You got some bad news, whatever the case may be. But to do this is just like selfishness and a lack of introspection. Like, you don't understand what you look like to everyone else. You look crazy, boy. And I hope that he got the substance abuse treatment that he needed. And I hope that his client got ethical representation because this was not it. This was certainly ineffective assistance of counsel. If between now and when the trial actually went forward, one of the defense's key witnesses like died or something like that, he would have seriously prejudiced his client by showing up to court drunk and then failing to request a continuance, and this likely resulted in a mistrial. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I literally don't even know what else to say. I'm flabbergasted. This is crazy to me. I mean, but crazy things happen every day, boo. Every day, especially in court. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night. Bye.